Somewhere along the way, we got this message that in order to make money as a coach or a service provider, that we needed to have a huge social media following, a big email list, or we need to go viral, we need big reach, right? All of those things that we were told, are still constantly told. And I really want to take the time to just debunk that and break it down, because I think it's keeping so many of you, like really good business owners, heart-driven business owners, totally stuck. And if I'm being really honest, broke. Before I get into that though, I want to make sure you know about my free training 0 to 5K happening on August 11th. If you have skills that you are just like, I want to help people. I know I'm good at what I do, and I want to learn how to get paid for it, and not only paid, but get paid consistently, then this is the training for you. You can grab the link to register right here in the show notes, and it's completely free and will absolutely change the way that you look at operating your business for the next 6, 12, 18 months. I'm so excited to see you there. Don't forget to register. Okay, now let's break down what's really going on here. When I first started my coaching business, I want to be honest with you, it was 6 years ago. Social media looked really different than it does today. However, it has taught me that it's a lesson as old as time, right? Our relationships, and I think I have several episodes about relationships, but our relationships are truly a foundational block, especially as new business owners. So when I first started, I didn't have a massive social media following. Many of us don't when we're first starting our businesses. I think I literally had like 300 people, and I was really using it for personal reasons. But because I was using it for personal reasons, I had established a lot of connection on there, right? I was having conversations around motherhood, around my recent divorce, around starting a coaching business, around things that I like to do for fun as, a 30-year-old woman, right? Whatever it was. So I think that the conversations that social media, brought to me were so organic and natural that it automatically led to having conversations around coaching. My first clients were not strangers on the internet. And I want to say that again. My first clients, in fact, I think my first 10 or 20 clients were not strangers. They were either referrals to me from current clients, they were referrals to me from friends and family, or they were actually people that resurfaced that I knew from high school or college that saw what I was doing, even though I wasn't using my social media platform to talk about my business, but I just naturally shared about my story and what I was doing. And I was having people reach out to be like, I want this too. So this is such an important thing to remember, because I know a lot of you who listen to this podcast and who come into my world are at these early stages of business, or maybe you started this business kind of as a hobby and now you're like, oh my gosh, I think this could be something more, but I wouldn't even know the first thing about getting consistent revenue. This is where we start. We need to look at leads in general and what are we doing to have these kinds of conversations and bring people into our world that already know, like, and trust us. And that is the benefit of referrals or already having a relationship with people, is that you shorten the gap of what it takes for them to understand that you are the person that can solve their problem. Trust is one of the biggest things that we can have in a sales conversation. And when there is a bridge, meaning like, let's say your sister recommends her coworker to you to get coaching around relationship, right? That person already has some kind of trust built with you because your sister was the one that recommended her. So I just want you to understand that we put a lot of energy into social media. And now that my business has grown to the size that it has, I am exploring ways to grow more using social media. But this is a very new thing, and it wasn't so much of an important thing early on in my business, especially when I was wanting to have more one-on-one clients. And so I want to remind you that you already have these people in your world. I guarantee it. If you were to do an audit of the places that you spend time and the people that you know, you would find clients within the next 1 to max 3 weeks. The problem is you're not sharing enough about your story, the transformations you provide, how you can help people. And so it makes it really hard for people to recommend you. You know, it's also interesting, like, when's the last time you asked your happy clients, like, do you know someone else that could benefit from the kind of coaching that you and I have done, right? So these are all things that I think are so important as we are on this journey of wanting to build our business and get it to a consistent place. It's not that we just like shut off our social media channels, but what if we just like turn down the dial there a little bit in terms of like, I need to understand the algorithm perfectly and I need to know how to edit this like really perfect talking head reel. Instead of like putting so much energy into those places, what if instead you started spending some time each week looking at who do you already know and how can you share in these organic spaces about what it is that you do so that these conversations can start to occur. One more thing I want to reframe while we're together here, I want to reframe the word audience. A lot of times, especially in today's world, when we use the word audience, we often mean followers. And so we get kind of tripped up when we look at our follower count and see 300, 500, and we think, oh my gosh, like this is not nearly big enough. Well, I want to remind you of a couple things. Audience means a lot more than followers. So if you are only looking at that number, I can understand why you might feel stressed or sad or disappointed or frustrated. But I want to reframe audience is anyone that is looking at you through the lens of, wow, they could help me, or wow, she's inspiring, or wow, I finally get what it is that she does, or, you know, the people that you know. It's the people that you see at church. It's your neighbors. It's the moms you're talking to at the drop-off lines. It's the person you just met last week on your family vacation that you were sitting next to in the lounge chair, right? These are all people who get to be a part of your audience. And nothing builds trust faster than when you're actually having these really intentional, curated conversations. Everyone who comes into my world, when they're like, Kaitlin, I just don't know what to do. There's so much. I'm like, prioritize having conversations. Get more into the heads of the people that are around you and what are the things that they feel like they are needing to get where they want to go, and how can you help fill in that gap with your natural skills, okay? So again, audience doesn't just mean followers. But even if we were just looking at followers, another way to reframe this is so many people discount like 300, 500. That is still a lot of people. If 300 or 500 people came and knocked on your door right now, you would probably be massively overwhelmed. So it's not that it's not a lot of people, but potentially you haven't figured out a way to communicate to them. That's an entirely different episode in and of itself, but that's something to think about and reframe too. Like if you have 1, 2, 3, 500, 1,000 people there, but you're not getting conversations going, you're not having people react, it would be a sign. Like if you were my client, I would have us sit down to look at your actual content to understand, why aren't your people talking back with you? Why aren't you having really curated conversations around taking next steps with you? And as a coach, I'm usually able to really easily identify where those gaps are, and we can start solving those problems, because 3 to 5, 600 people, that is a lot of people, and there are so much opportunity there. So again, my first couple years in business, I had less than 100 people on my email list, and I have absolutely been able to slay it with multiple 6-figure years in the last 3 years with a fairly small audience compared to a lot of business owners. And my audience has grown steadily too. I have not had like a post yet go massively viral where I gained a bunch of people overnight. This has been from consistently showing up and committing to talking about how I can serve you and what I'm here to do and what this could look like for you, right? So again, let's reframe that word audience and start looking at anyone we have a conversation with as a member of this audience. I want to address the other thing that I think goes on when I share with you that your audience or your next clients are already in your world. You might be thinking like, that's great, Kaitlin, but that actually feels even more scary than a stranger. I really want to make sure we address this too, because I know that might be a thought that you're having. Because if I'm being honest, that is scary, right? Because if a stranger rejects us, then we're like, we never have to see that person. But if somebody we know rejects us, you're like, shit, I have to see her tomorrow when we drop off our kids at preschool together. Or, this person knows my cousin. So, they're going to tell my cousin that I wasn't the right fit for them or whatever it is. And so maybe that feels potentially a little bit more vulnerable to tap into your audience. But what I want to remind you is that these people that already exist in your world are the ones that want to support you the most. They are the ones that believe in what it is that you are doing, and they want to see you succeed. And so it's to your benefit to grow your direct surroundings and continue to share with them what it is you're doing in your business, the breakthroughs that your clients have seen, how you are continuing to expand and grow. Because when we keep these things to ourselves, the people around us don't know how to support us. And so then it's really easy to feel like I'm annoying or I'm completely unsupported or no one in my life gets what I do. But it's, babe, you're not talking about it. You can't expect people just to know what it is that you do. A lot of it is already in your head, right? You've got to share. And I'm going to leave you with this. I know that for a lot of coaches and business owners, building a social media presence feels really productive, right? We're like, damn, yeah, this one got a lot of views, or, I got X amount of followers. But if the effort you're putting in there is not creating clients, that's a problem, and that's a gap that we need to look at. So being productive is different than not getting the results, which is having conversations, which then leads to clients. So again, really audit where are clients coming to you from. Is the effort you're putting into social media, giving you the ROI of conversations and clients? If not, why not? And also, how can you utilize the people that are literally already in your world who believe in you to grow your business in these early stages? Because every happy client, again, this is another episode, but I get so excited. I don't want to get on my soapbox, but I'm going to just for a second. One of the other things we really talk about in my world, whether you're a one-on-one coach or you're in my embodied earner mastermind, is client satisfaction. We want our clients to be happy. We want them to be able to talk about the transformations that they have. And if they are unable to do that, it's really hard for them to refer clients. So this is a very layered approach where you've got friends and family who might not be direct clients, but they believe in you. You've got clients who are working with you that are happy. And then it's about messaging to bring in these strangers. It's a whole ecosystem. And I recognize that it can feel overwhelming, but it's all something that you look at individually, and then how does it all piece together? And that's a lot of the work we do inside of my world. So if that is something you are interested in, by interested, I mean you are interested in growing your revenue and wanting to get your business to these first 5, 10K months that are consistent and repeatable, and you want to know why you're making that kind of money or why you aren't making that kind of money, you need to be in my free masterclass 0 to 5K happening on August 11th. You can join us by clicking the link below in the show notes. I promise you that you are going to want to be there, where I pull back the curtain on all of the things that either you are missing or that you can double down on to get you to that first 5K month in the next 90 days. So hope to see you there. As always, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend, share it on your socials, tag me at The Beam Life. I'm so excited to be here every week. And next week, we're going to dive into one of my favorite topics, which is building out your offers and how your offers need to easily be attracting the people that you serve and want to serve. So I will see you back here next Wednesday. Again, join us for 0 to 5K with the link in the bio. Subscribe, share, do all the things. See you.